You may be wondering why I'm showing you two pieces of meat. Well, what if I told you that one of these is actually made of plants? Hi, I'm a food scientist, and I'm working on the next generation of meat alternatives. My mission is to make meat alternatives so delicious and so realistic that you can't tell the difference. Today, I want to share with you how a new approach called directional freezing can change the game for meat alternatives. Now, directional freezing sounds fancy, but the idea is actually quite simple. Imagine you have a mixture of plant proteins and water that you want to turn into something like a steak or a fish fillet. If you freeze this mixture from one side only, ice crystals start to grow in one direction, creating thousands of icicles that are all lined up. Now, here's the cool part. Once you remove those icicles, what's left is a network of plant protein fibers. In other words, we've created plant-based muscle fibers. The result is a texture that looks and feels just like meat, with fibrous layers you can pull apart, just like you would in a piece of steak. But why does this matter? Because texture is everything. We've nailed flavors with clever ingredients and spices, but meat analogs are still too mushy or rubbery. But imagine if your meat analog could have the same nutritional value as a piece of steak. Imagine if it had that authentic bite. That's what directional freezing allows us to do. Now, let's look at the bigger picture: sustainability and consumer appeal. Traditional meat production uses huge amounts of land and water and produces a lot of greenhouse gases. Meat analogs can dramatically shrink that environmental footprint. And by making those analogs as appetizing as possible, we're not just cooking up a new food, we're making sustainability delicious. Oh, for the home chefs in the room, here's a little secret. If you have a freezer at home, and I'm sure you do, you too can use directional freezing to make your own meat analog. Let's wrap up with this thought. If you can't tell the difference, why not choose the option that's better for the planet? With directional freezing and a dash of food science, we're bringing that option to your plate. One of these pieces is made of plants. And with my research, you may soon find yourself asking, if cows eat plants, why can't we?